comic book movies. This is something I love very much. I love it so much, I watched every single comic book movie in 2023. Hi there, I am Vian from the Bears Gaming and Movie channel. And yeah, sorry, that's my dog and my girlfriend's dog. And today my electricity is off, so that's why it looks like the lighting is weird, because I have no extra lights, but I do want to make this video. So yeah, I've watched all 18 movies in comic book movies in 2023, apart of one which I couldn't find anywhere. It's the Justice League X Ruby Part 2. It's supposed to be out, but I couldn't find it anywhere. So if you know where to find it or whatever, I will watch it and maybe put a review out of it. I don't know, I'm not putting reviews out yet. But yeah, so there was 18 movies released that I watched, and some of them were good, some of them not so good. It's been a tough year for comic book movies. The MCU is struggling a little bit, the DCU ending, and yeah, not much good animated movies except for like Spider-Man, and well, the Man was also good, but you'll see where I rank all these movies. So yeah, I will also do an average score of this year, and then next year when I watch all the 2024 comic book movies, I will compare it with this year. And yeah, that's it. Let's get into the video. I ranked these movies on Letterboxd from a score from 1 to 10. 5 stars of course mean 10. So I will let you know which movies got a 10 out of 10, which movies I didn't like, and which movies I liked. So without further ado, let's get into the comic book movie ranking. Our 18th and last spot is going to be Batman: The Doom That Came to Gotham. Now this movie is something I didn't appreciate at all. I've never read the comics about this storyline, and it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't like the story at all. The movie is also not very good. Like I said, I don't know, it's just a weird movie where it actually becomes a vampire or something. It's very demonic based, and weird shit happens in that movie. It's just a weird movie, and I don't like it. I like Batman as Batman is, not this version of him. So that's why it's not a good movie. 17th place is going to be Lego Marvel Avengers Code Red. I forced myself to watch this movie because, like I said, I'm going to watch every single superhero movie or comic book movie, and this is made for kids like the age 2 to 5 maybe, because there are some funny jokes, but it's very childish. Even Santa is in this movie, and the premise is so weird, like collector capturing every single red based superhero or supervillain. It's just weird. Everything about it is just super weird. And yeah, so much to say, it's a very short film. I don't think it's even an hour long. So yeah, it's just another childish movie from Lego. 16 is gonna be Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Now this movie is the reason why this video is only coming out probably in February, the 1st of February or the 31st of January, because I had to wait to watch this movie because I couldn't watch it in cinemas because I wasn't home. And yeah, I didn't like this movie. It's so bad. I was building my Lego car, one of those actually, when I was watching this film, and I was more entertained by building than actually watching the movie because the CGI is just so bad. Some parts you can just see the difference between Aquaman 1 and 2. The story is a little bit weird. The characters, I like Aquaman, of course, and Orm, King Orm. But the rest is just not so good. The main villain's weird. Like I said, the story is weird. It's not entertaining. You can see the DCU just didn't give a F about this movie, even though this was the last movie. And there was some funny things, but most of it was just boring. When I think back of something I liked, I can't tell you what that is. So, just a weird movie. 15th place is going to be Justice League Warworld. Now, this is one of them Justice League movies, animated movies in the new universe. And this is like a mystery movie. It's like so confusing. I don't understand what's going on, and I watched every single animated movie before this one also. So it's just like you're in a time frame with some characters, and it doesn't make sense why you are here. And then at the end, you find something out, but it doesn't really make sense about Warworld, and I don't know. I still don't know what's going on in this movie. Yeah, I was just so confused, and I still don't know really what's going on in this film. So it's just a bad animated movie. Also, not much wow, and yeah, no, it's not good. 14th place is going to be Legion of Superheroes. I think the one that came out before this, before the previous one, Justice League World, was Legion of Superheroes, and it actually follows Supergirl in the timeline of the Legion of Superheroes. So that's a little bit weird. But it fits in the story itself. And I think they did some good things, some not so good things. The action is kind of cool, but the movie just feels, I don't know. It's just a weird movie. I don't know. Some of these movies are like, it's just ordinary, average, below average movies thus far. So I don't know how to describe this film. I didn't like it that much, but it's okay. Yeah, I don't know really how to describe this film. It's like a school superhero movie, and then the most basic thing happens of an invasion, and the outcasts has to save it. And I don't know, all these things. I saw my nose itches now. But that is the only movies I didn't like. The rest I did like. So let's get into 13th. It's going to be Scooby-Doo and Crypto 2. Now, this movie was announced late 2023, and I was actually very excited to watch it because I'm actually a very big Scooby-Doo fan. So yeah, it's a fun movie. It's like Scooby-Doo shenanigans at some point. Lots of running around, screaming, solving mysteries, and sometimes bad jokes, but sometimes good jokes. There are very good jokes. Like the standout joke for me is when Velma and the team go to the Daily Bugle with Lois Lane, and Velma takes the glasses off to clean it, and they're just like, oh, who are you? Where's the other one? And because that's what Superman does. So it's actually very sharp sometimes, but very clever, and that's the hardest I laughed at any of the movies in here. But yeah, it's just Crypto. He can't speak, of course, but he's fun. Okay, it's a fun addition. And yeah, it's just cool to see the Justice League and Scooby Doo. And the mystery is, it's weird, but you'll see what happens if you watch this movie. 12th place is going to be Justice League X Ruby, Superheroes, and Huntsman Part 1. Yeah, that's a very long title for a movie. But yeah, I got my Superman shirt on for today's video, but it's quite cold here. So yeah. But I was actually very surprised. My girlfriend wanted to watch this with me. Well, not really wanted. She was just sitting next to me when I watched this. And she actually started to like it because I don't know what's how Rubies, or if it's pronounced RWBY. I'm not sure how that works, but I've never watched it. I've never heard of it any since. But the characters and things, it makes sense. You don't have to watch the whole Ruby series or movies to understand what's going on here, and I like that. And it was in the style of Ruby. I think Part 2 is in the style of the Justice League. I don't know, but it was very entertaining. Surprisingly, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, and both me and my girlfriend enjoyed it. So yeah, it's just a fun movie with some fun hijinks, and yeah, it's cool. If I maybe knew a little bit more about Ruby, maybe I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. 11th place, just shy of the top 10, is going to be Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I've watched this once this year, and I actually wanted to watched it twice because for this channel, but I was like, I'm not gonna watch it twice because the first time was enough. It was a very underwhelming story. Not so bad as many people say it is. I understand why people go on the way they do about the movie, but Kang, I thought he was actually very menacing. I understand why people don't like the fact that Ant-Man beats him. That is kind of lame. The drama with Jonathan Majors at the moment doesn't make it any better. But the movie itself it was quite okay. I don't know, it's just another movie. The MCU is starting to decline here. And yeah, okay, the more I think about it, the more I didn't like the movie, but it had some cool things in it. Most of them are bad, but it's fine. 10th place is going to be The Flash. Now, I will say it, the first time I watched this movie, I loved it. The second time I watched it, it was so disgusting for me. I still like the movie. But yeah, on the second watch, I saw the problems in the movie because I'm a very big Flash fan, so it was time for a Flash movie to be on the big screen, and I just sipped it up real good. So yeah, the premise of the movie is very heartbreaking, very good, but the way they achieve it is not so good. The CGI very bad. The cameos afterwards, I understand the disgusting thing that Warner Bros. Did to give the cameos. It was just bad. It was good to see Nicolas Cage in that Superman thing because that was funny. But the rest of the movie, the second time I watched it, I actually didn't like the second Flash at all. I don't understand why they did the way they did it because he's not Flash at all. And Ezra Miller doesn't play Flash actually as good as I thought the first time. So hopefully when they reboot it, they get an awesome Flash because Flash needs some love at this moment because he's such a cool character. He is so cool and they just wasted him in the DCU. So I really hope they get him back for a better one next time. But yeah, cool to see Keaton in it, but the rest, meh. 9th is going to be Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Now, I'm also a very big Transformers fan. I grew up with it. I played the games, I watched it on repeat, and I was very excited to watch this movie. Me and my grandma always watched it with me, and she passed not so long ago, so I was quite sad watching this movie, but I liked it. There were some problems. They tried to do things. I'm just gonna call it not a jump scare, a death scare, like a few times where they, oh, is he gonna die? Is he not gonna die? Oh, he died, but he didn't die. They do it too many times in this film. The post-credit scene was quite weird. If you didn't watch the movie, go watch the movie because this is a spoiler. But G.I. Joe is in the movie. I know in the comics G.I. Joe and Transformers have had crossovers, but that was really weird. Because the last G.I. Joe movie came out in, I can't even remember when. So it's weird, but it was a cool movie to see some of the Transformers. It's not as action-packed or as emotional as the previous movies, but it's a good middle ground, and yeah, I can't wait to see what they do next because some of it was good. The Mirage was very cool. It was probably the standout in this movie, but the rest was fine. Number 8 is going to be a movie I didn't know existed until I almost finished the list. So this was the movie Merry Little Batman is 8th. Now, I've never heard of this movie. I didn't see anything, so I went into this totally dark. So I watched this at my girlfriend's house. No, okay, there we go. I watched this at my girlfriend's house, and we didn't have any idea. She fell asleep because she was tired. But I was so intrigued with this movie because it starts with a Christmas theme, and then you realize slowly what's going on, and you find out that Batman is retired, and he has a son, and like Gotham is the safest place ever, so there's no need for him anymore. And, that's a very interesting take on Batman because you don't see that ever anyway. So it's actually more focused on Damien, and it's quite cool to see that. And the art style is very awesome. So I was very surprised by this movie, and I enjoyed it very much. So if you want to watch a Christmas Batman movie, go watch this one because it was quite good. Number 7 is going to be Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Now, I watched this movie, like most of these movies, only once, and it was quite a few months ago. So I can't remember much of this movie, but I was so mad at the end of this movie. Spoilers, because I'm going to spoil it now. Shazam dies, and then he doesn't die. Afterwards, after they do like this emotional thing about emotional tribute and everything, then it just comes back to life. It's just so cheap, man. And this was just before we knew about the DCU ending, so we were not sure about how this would go. But still, they did some cool things. I still think Shazam is a very cool character. The people that are in this movie are very creative. The main villains are a little bit weird, but the rest was very entertaining. Like I said, the ending and the Wonder Woman thing is just so weird. So yeah, not a big fan of that. That brought it down quite much. Number 6 is going to be The Marvels. Now, The Marvels is probably the most recent MCU movie on this list. And yeah, I enjoyed it. Most people say this is garbage, but I don't think it's garbage. It's not that bad. Some of it is not as good, but most of it is very entertaining. I like the premise of the three with their powers. It's quite gimmicky, but that's fine. I think Carol Danvers, this is the best she has been in the MCU. Ms. Marvel, entertaining as always. And Monica Rambeau was also very entertaining. I like the backstory we get from Ms. Marvel about her ending of the Captain Marvel 1 and the consequences she had for her choices. The ending, it's the villain is such an idiot. I don't like the villain, and that's probably the worst part of the movie. But the end credit scene makes me excited because I'm a very big X-Men fan, so I'm hoping for something good in Deadpool 3. But we'll see. But at the moment, 6th place is The Marvels. 5th place is Blue Beetle. Now, it's an origin story about Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle is one of my favorite characters in Young Justice, the Injustice series. And he's just such a cool character and a cool concept. A kid that gets a robotic thing on his back, a scarab, and then it's just so cool. And I think the story is such a cool story. It's like Iron Man, but for kids mostly. And yeah, the actor that played Blue Beetle, very good. I liked him very much from Cobra Kai. Yeah, he's a very cool guy and a very cool movie, actually. It's very enjoyable. I'm still not sure if it's part of the DCU or the DCEU. Or the new one. I can't remember what's that one's called. I think it's DCU. So yeah, I don't know where to place this movie in a chronological sense. So I really hope it comes back in another movie because he was very cool. 4th place is gonna be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Now this film was so cool. I know it's the same people from Spider-Verse that does the art style. and I really like the art style. I like the younger versions of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, seeing them as actual teenagers. That was really fun. I like the whole thing there. Some of it was very funny, some of it was not so funny. But yeah, it's a very cool movie. I can't wait for number 2 because then they're gonna introduce Shredder, and he's my favorite villain from the Teenage Mutant the TMNT. So yeah, um, some things I don't like about this movie: the villains are quite cool, but then they end up not being villains. So yeah, I'm not sure what they're gonna do with that in the next movie, but yeah, very entertaining movie. And Jackie Chan as Splinter was so cool to see, and yeah, it's a very cool movie. Loved it. Okay, there's only 3 movies left, and all 3 of these movies got a 10 out of 10 for me. And let's get started. Our third place is gonna be Nimona. Now, I had no idea about Nimona. I've heard there was a comic book movie named Nimona. There we go. In 2023, so I went into it blindly. And my girlfriend was next to me. She wasn't very excited, but when we started the movie, the art style is very cool, and it instantly grabbed her attention, and it was so cool. It was one of the biggest surprises of the year for me because the movie was just so entertaining. Nimona is so funny. She's so creative. She has awesome powers, and I can remember the guy's name that she worked with, but he was also really cool. And it's actually a very tragic story. At the end, you find out how and why it's so tragic, but it's a very cool movie. If you haven't watched it and you're a comic book fan, go watch this movie because it's such a cool superhero movie and a comic book movie, and I know you will enjoy it. Now, second place, this was hard for me to choose between the two, between number 1 and 2. If I could say they were tied, I would, because it took me more than 10 minutes to decide which one is first. But I'll give you my reasons for number 2 is going to be Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. The reason he's number 2, I'll talk about that at number 1. But this was such a cool movie. I can't wait for number 1, number 3. The only problem I have with this movie is the long time I have to wait to watch the next one because the cliffhanger was just so cool. But that's probably the thing that hurts it the most. It's because it's not the full story. But even though it's not the full story, it's almost got number 1 because it's entertaining. The story is heartbreaking, dramatic, and it's just such a cool. I love the what's it called? The art style of the movie. It's so cool. And I love the movie. I just love that we saw a lot more of Gwen's side of the story. And we saw the cool Spider-Man and all these things. It's so cool. It's heartbreaking for me to put that second. But I think the only reason it is second is because of the next movie has to fulfill the whole premise. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm rambling. Sorry. But Spider-Man was very cool. I can't wait to see Beyond the Spider-Verse. So if that movie lands it, I think it will be the best superhero movie ever. Maybe. But first place is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Now, the first time I watched this movie, I didn't give it a 10 out of 10 because I didn't actually watch the movie. I went to watch it in cinema, but the day before my mom was in a car accident, and I don't know really how it was going. I purchased the tickets the day before, so it was more, my brain wasn't really there. But when I watched it the second time, I loved it even more because the story with Rocket is just so heartbreaking. I remember actually tearing up with this movie, and movies don't usually get that out of me because, yeah, I'm a man. That's a joke. But it's very entertaining, and the ending for the Guardians of the Galaxy is perfect in my opinion, and it's just all of them stories ended on such a good note, and the story itself was just so amazing. Yeah, it's good to see no one had actually died, because I really thought someone was gonna die. But I don't know. It's sad to see the Guardians end after 3 movies, but this movie was very good for me. The action was very good, acting very good. The jokes just landed every time. But the reason this one is in front of Spider-Man is because of they did everything right, and so did Spider-Man. But one of the biggest things about Spider-Man is all the Spider-Man that we saw. It's like they want to grab your grab your attention with all these cool Spider-Man, you know. But this movie, without doing anything multiversal, grabbed my attention the whole way. So that's why it's number one. And yeah, I really hope the MCU gets its shit together next year. The average for 2023 comic book movies is going to be a 6.83. It's actually very good. It's between, in my opinion, it's between above average and good. But there are some bad movies in here, like the first 3 I talked about, but that's always going to be like that. Yeah. So next year I will revisit this score, the average of a 6.83, and hopefully it will be better. I don't think it will be, because I think the only good super movie that will come out is going to be Deadpool 3, and we're going to get Madam Web and Kraven the Hunter, so we'll see about that. But if you enjoyed this comic book movie list, give me a like and subscribe. Let me know where you would rank the things and what did I do wrong. It's just my opinions, just for fun. And sorry about the lighting. The lighting will be better next time, because our electricity is off at the moment, because I live in South Africa. And yeah, my room is starting to look better. Yeah, I think it looks cool. And yeah, that's my thing for the Infinity Gauntlet, because I'm a big MCU fan. Yeah, have a nice day, and I hope you enjoy the video. Cheers.